Meet James. James was an ordinary man. He had big dreams. He wanted to be healthier, wealthier and happier, but he felt stuck. He had tried many times to change his life. He made big resolutions every New Year's Day, but he always fell back into old habits. He felt frustrated. He thought he lacked willpower. One day, James stumbled upon a new idea. It wasn't about making huge leaps. It was about making tiny changes. This idea was the 1% improvement concept. James was intrigued that could small changes really make a difference. He decided to give it a try. He started with just one small habit. He committed to drinking a glass of water every morning. This tiny step was the beginning of James's transformation. He didn't realize it then, but he was embarking on a journey of self-improvement, one small step at a time. His story is a testament to the power of tiny habits. These habits, though seemingly insignificant, can lead to extraordinary changes. The concept of 1% improvement is simple. It's about getting slightly better each day. Imagine a plane taking off. If the pilot adjusts the course by just 1 degree at takeoff, it might not seem significant at first. However, over the duration of the flight, this tiny change could mean the difference between landing in Paris or ending up in Rome. This is the power of compounding. Small improvements, when done consistently, accumulate over time. They create remarkable results. James, although initially skeptical, began to understand this principle. He realized that he didn't need to overhaul his life overnight. Instead, he could focus on making tiny changes. These changes would eventually add up to big results. This realization was empowering for James. It gave him hope. It made the process of change less daunting. He was no longer overwhelmed by the thought of massive transformations. He was ready to embrace the power of small wins. James, inspired by the 1% rule, decided to focus on tiny habits. He started with his health. He wanted to exercise more, but the thought of going to the gym felt overwhelming, so he made a simple change. He decided to do 2 push-ups every morning after brushing his teeth. He also wanted to eat healthier. Instead of overhauling his entire diet, he started with a small change. He decided to replace his afternoon bag of crisps with a piece of fruit. These tiny habits, though seemingly insignificant, started to make a difference. James felt a sense of accomplishment. He was no longer just setting goals. He was achieving them, no matter how small they seemed. His confidence grew. He realized that small changes were manageable. They didn't require superhuman willpower or drastic lifestyle changes. This realization was key to his continued success. It kept him motivated. It stopped him from falling back into old habits. He was on the right track, one small habit at a time. As James continued with his tiny habits, something interesting happened. He started to see himself differently. He was no longer just a man who wanted to be healthier, he was a healthy man. This shift in identity was crucial. It changed his self-perception, it reinforced his new habits. He started identifying with his new behaviors. This made it easier for him to stick to his habits. He was no longer trying to force himself to change. He was simply living in alignment with his new identity. This internal shift was fundamental to his long-term transformation. It laid the foundation for lasting change. James realized that true change comes from within. It's about becoming the person who embodies the qualities you desire. This understanding was a turning point in his journey. It moved him from simply changing his habits to transforming his identity. This internal shift made all the difference. Section 5. Make it obvious cueing new habits. James learned about the 4 laws of behavior change. These laws provided a framework for making his new habits stick. The first law is to make it obvious. He realized that he needed clear cues to trigger his new habits. For his push-up habit, he placed his exercise mat right next to his bed. This visual cue served as a reminder every morning. For his healthy eating habit, he kept a bowl of fruit on the kitchen counter, making it the first thing he saw when he walked in. By making his desired habits obvious, James increased his chances of sticking with them. He removed the guesswork. He eliminated the need for constant reminders. His environment was now working with him, not against him. This was a powerful shift in his approach to habit formation. Section 6. Make it attractive, the allure of positive change. The second law of behavior change is to make it attractive. James realized that he was more likely to stick to habits that he found appealing. He started pairing his push-up routine with something he enjoyed, listening to his favorite music. This made the exercise more enjoyable. To make healthy eating more attractive, James invested in a new cookbook. This cookbook was filled with delicious and healthy recipes, making healthy eating something he looked forward to. By associating his new habits with positive experiences, James increased his motivation and made them easier to maintain. He understood that creating a positive association with his habits made a difference. It made the process less about willpower and more about enjoyment. The more he enjoyed his new habits, the more sustainable they became. Section 7. Make it easy, simplicity for sustainable habits. The third law is to make it easy. James realized that he was more likely to stick to habits that required minimal effort. He knew that starting small and gradually increasing the difficulty was key. He started with just 2 push-ups a day, even though he knew he could do more. By starting small, he removed any barriers to action. He made the habit so easy that he couldn't say no. As he got used to the habit, he gradually increased the number of push-ups. He applied the same principle to his eating habits. He started with small changes, like swapping one unhealthy snack for a healthier option. This gradual approach made the process less daunting. It allowed him to build consistency, which was more important than intensity in the early stages. He focused on building a sustainable routine, one small step at a time. Section 8. Make it satisfying, the reward of small wins. The fourth and final law is to make it satisfying. James understood that rewards, no matter how small, could reinforce his new habits. After completing his morning push-ups, he would check off the task on a habit tracker. This visual representation of his progress gave him a sense of accomplishment. He also rewarded himself with a small treat at the end of each week for sticking to his healthy eating plan. This reward system, though simple, was effective. It created a positive feedback loop. The more he rewarded himself, the more motivated he became to continue his new habits. James realized that celebrating small wins was crucial. It kept him motivated. It reinforced the positive changes he was making in his life. These small rewards, though seemingly insignificant, played a big role in his long-term success. Section 9. The compound effect, from tiny habits to life-changing results. As weeks turned into months, James was amazed by the transformation he saw in himself. He was fitter, healthier, and happier. He had more energy and focus. He felt proud of himself for sticking to his commitments. He had finally cracked the code to lasting change. James's story is a powerful testament to the compound effect of tiny habits. It highlights the importance of consistency over intensity. It underscores the transformative power of small actions taken consistently over time. His journey is an inspiration to us all. We can all achieve remarkable results by focusing on 1% improvements each day. The key is to start small, be consistent, and enjoy the journey. Remember, small habits, when consistently applied, can lead to extraordinary transformations. Just like James, you have the power to change your life, one small habit at a time.